Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. We had a lot of news today, big ice raid in L.A., and news on the Epstein file. Elon Musk is still pitching a fit and carrying on, and a lot of other things that we're going to talk about tonight. But I will play some videos while people come into the chats so that we can all enjoy our own company. And if you're not subscribed, why don't you subscribe so you can find out when I go live and join us in the chat sometime. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut off my mic and play some pertinent videos while people come in and get settled in.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people. There were a lot of men in those planes, a lot of men who visited that island, a lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
ABC and Robach released statements today, essentially saying that the story wasn't ready for air. She said that, and they said that as well, not fully vetted. ABC has still not run all these years later, and he's dead now.
How many children were raped in the last 3 years since they spiked this story? Because, as Amy says, she had witnesses, she had victims, she had photographic evidence with a Bill Clinton connection and a British royal family connection. And ABC News said that that did not meet their editorial standards. What are those standards? I want them to come clean, because they went after Brett Kavanaugh with 40-year-old hearsay, with no corroborating witnesses, no evidence, and a lot of that was furnished by Michael Avenatti, a scoundrel, a bankrupt tax cheat, who brought forth gang rape allegations with no evidence. So what were those standards that allowed that to get on air? I'd like to know. And it looks like the play was, we don't get access to royal family interviews on GMA.
Yeah.
Please. And you're not going to go protect children who are allegedly being sexually assaulted by God knows who and God knows where. And this is the Disney company? The Disney company. It's sick.
Yeah, I mean, and the suggestion that nobody knew who Jeffrey Epstein was, I mean, I don't know who these people are,
right,
but Jeffrey Epstein was, linked to many powerful people for years. I mean, he wouldn't be a household name necessarily, but that the executives at ABC in New York City had no idea who he was, I find very difficult to believe.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. I hope you're having a great evening as we enter into a new week. This is the last day of the week for July. And a lot of things are happening as always. I said, what was going to replace? What are we going to do now? What's Trump going to do now? He pretty much slayed the dragon by getting the big bill passed and his dealings overseas. Well, there's a lot more dragons out there, aren't there? So we'll get to it. I repeated the theme that I had put up before, which is a thin red line. What was I talking about? I was talking about they're walking a fine line, these governors and mayors, but it's a red line. And you know Trump, when he puts a red line, you don't cross it. Not like Obama. He'd scratch it out and put another line in. The mobile red line that always was moving around. It might be a thin line they're walking, but it's a red one. And here you have Karen Bass. They had a big raid in L.A. Caught them with their pants down. Self-admitted she has this team of people that monitor and report to the detriment of the ability of law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and they didn't know what hit them. And she's having hissy fits over it. She's going to get her lawyers on it. Good. Get some judges involved too so we can identify more of them that need to be removed. As I've said, I believe part of this operation is doing just that. Hi, Todd. How you doing? Whoa, wait a second. Robin, nice to see you. Wayne's here. I got a thumbs up. Ha, ha, ha. Thank you for going by buy me a coffee last night, Wayne. I saw that. I appreciate it. Wanda, Kathy, Melinda, Darla, Rebecca, Flannel Cheese. Debbie's here. Yes, I have a link in the description. Hopefully it's working right. But anyway, here you have Karen Bass hanging the phone up. I'll play the clip where she was saying they have to leave right now. And they asked her who she talked to. She said something. I can't make it out. You know, my hearing's a little bit bum, as many of you know. So maybe some of you all catch who she said she talked to. Wait a minute. Let me see if I got that clip. I'm going to leave this up as my... Whoa, wait a minute. My background was going to be Ephesians, because we're going to talk about the Epstein list and how we've got people going in every direction about why Kash Patel and Dan Bongino said what they said, Pam Bondi said what they said, the postings that they put out. Oh my, well, yeah, there's a method to that seeming madness. We're going to get into that also. Just remember, I played the clip many times where Trump said, Clinton, he's a nice guy, but he's got some problems. Got some problems with that island he liked to go to. And I played the clip where Trump said, what was he doing? What was he doing with all that concrete? Filling in below that building. We know what the building was. The temple. Trump had been shy about saying what was going on there. And it's semantics. And the devil's in the details. The words people use. But we have the left all of a sudden clamoring for things they were against. Now, here's an example. Midas Trash Network. Come on, Elon, do it. Midas Trash Community. And there they have Elon making a face and Trump going, oh my. Talking about the third party. Wait a minute, you all were throwing rocks at Elon earlier, wanting to burn his Teslas up and everything like that. Oh, he helped Trump steal the election. And they're getting ready to steal 2026. What happened to that? No, they're going to be on Elon's side now. That's exactly what I said. He would fracture their demented party, their hodgepodge of lunatics is all the Democrat Party has devolved into. And you could chip off a piece here and chip off a piece there. And that's what's going to happen with Elon's party. Of course, Trump's going to act like, oh, no, please don't do it. Go ahead and do it. Have fun with it. But now, for 10 years, the Epstein list was a conspiracy theory. Bunch of nonsense. Why y'all listen to that stuff? From that CUE Anon. It's all garbage and you all are a cult. Whoa, wait a minute. Now you all are looking for pictures. Even though they're poorly photoshopped or 30 years old with absolutely no meaning in the legal sense. You're keeping it out there. They're falling apart. They're spinning like they always are. And what this fifth generation warfare is doing is taking advantage of their instability of thought, their lack of logic, their knee-jerk reactions. And that's exactly what the Democrat Party and the cabal has been doing with as many Americans as they can rope into it for over a half a century, as we know through Operation Mockingbird, which was discussed in the U.S. Senate as part of the congressional record since back in the late 50s, early 60s. So now we're in the game. Now they do not have a bullhorn, and they're being critiqued, especially the media. Well, I will mention that, unfortunately, just before, about an hour before I went live, I saw where they posted, I was watching it through the day, that and it kept rising and rising, but the death toll in Texas has exceeded 100. It's horrible. Even with that, even with the backdrop of what happened in North Carolina and the lack of a response to the people who were living out in mud and filth and didn't even have a roof over their head. They're blaming Trump for this flash situation. But digital warriors are coming forward and pointing things out. This is one guy I may have mentioned in the past. I have, yeah. Decoy Voice. He's a young man that's climbing in the U-Tizzle sphere. And you watch his videos, they're thoughtful. And I have never heard him use a foul word. And he takes prescient issues and puts them in context. So if you get a chance, go by his channel and give him a sub. He certainly deserves it. But here he's put up something, even if people don't click on his videos, they get the point. Dana Bash. She constantly looks like a hound dog that lost their bone, okay? And hadn't slept in 2 weeks. But there she is. The slightest hint of a smile. They're actually enjoying this because they're building a narrative. Oh, it happened because of Trump's cuts from the big, beautiful bill. Even though if there are any scheduled cuts which would have affected this situation, they don't go into effect for 90 days. As a matter of fact, there were reports that they were overstaffed that evening. They had extra staff. But what happened so fast, so brutal, that there was nothing they could do. And it's heartbreaking. How could somebody try to get a political advantage over such a terrible thing? But these people have no shame. No shame. And he said they're actually enjoying this. Enjoying the opportunity to bash Trump. Citizen Free Press put this up. That they have no souls. The left has no souls. And they put this collage up. What is it with these people? Ruh-roh, Texas, what you gonna do? There's no FEMA to pick you up by your bootstraps. They gave it all to ICE. Texas deserves every flood God has. Who is this sick individual? Kind of happy that the National Weather Service gave incorrect predictions when it came to how much rain would fall. Especially since the best and brightest from that organization were let go to do to Doge, Elon, and Trump. Texas deserves the flooding. None of this is accurate to any degree. It's disgusting. You can see the rest. Get screenshots if you want to read. Demented people saying demented things. There you are. If you get 2 screenshots, or I'll shrink it down. A lot of people are having to apologize. A lot of these social media people. But they're showing their true colors. Even if somebody is a vote blue no matter who, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be repulsed by this kind of behavior. So as sad as it is, they're showing their true colors. I saw a story where one of the camp counselors had a magic marker and was writing the names of their kids on their arms and trying to get them high ground where if something happened, in permanent marker would be their names. So anyway, let me see what's going on in the comments. Hi, Miss Minder Sue. Yeah, 480 is what I anything more I won't get through. I just don't have the high-end internet. Whiskey, how you doing? Nice to see you. I tell you, I appreciate all my diehard people that watch the videos. Hi, Marie, how you doing? You see people, they hop around from video to video like grasshoppers. And they're always on the edge of their seat to find out something. Like some I have tried and tried over the years to say, look, this is going to be a long slog. And I'm going to get into that about Epstein. That's far from over. Far from over. This isn't something the FBI deals with. This is getting it out of civilian area of influence or anything like that. Remember when Benghazi happened? About a week afterwards, Obama dispatched the FBI to Libya. And everybody was like, what the hell is this all about? FBI is a domestic agency. They had FBI agents kicking around up there. I mean, literally kicking junk around, going, what do they expect us to do here? It happened a week ago. And we're in a foreign country supposed to investigate a crime? When Ambassador Stevens got drug out and lost his life. Well, my point is, what's happening with Epstein is not a domestic agency issue. It's not a domestic agency issue. Look what they put up on Russian memes. A Russian meme. Come join us, buddy, in the CIA retirement program. Look who we have there. Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden. Who's that in the upper corner there? I can't tell. But they're missing a lot of people. A lot of people in the CIA's retirement program. I can tell you one right off the bat. Hi, Araceli. Is Epsteinio. And don't get despondent over things like, oh, Dan Bongino said that Epstein killed himself. He committed suicide. He wasn't red-rummed. And so does Kash Patel. One of the most famous stories of World War II was Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox. I should have got a screenshot of him, but most of you all know who I'm talking about. He was a German field marshal, a national hero. And he was given a choice. I might talk about that at some length in future broadcasts. But it's a matter of fact, it's established. He got taken away in the staff car with two generals after they surrounded his house, cut his phone lines, had SS guards in the woods, about 100 of them, because they knew if Rommel wanted to be, Rommel could be lethal. And he had a lot of men that stood by him no matter what. But he offered no resistance. And while they're in the staff car, they said, you got a choice. You take this cyanide pill, you'll get a state funeral, all the honors, nothing will be said about what you're accused of. And they said, more importantly, your family will be untouched. And even somebody like Epstein, he was done. He was done. Epstein was done, no matter what. But the story about Rommel is he took the cyanide pill. They gave him a state funeral. Nothing came out about it till after the war. As a matter of fact, the two generals that went for that ride with him and intimidated him into taking his own life, they ended up doing that themselves in the bunker with Adolf. But anyway, Did Rommel commit you-know-what-aside? Or did they do it? Did they red rum him? Hear what I'm saying? You get my point? Rommel may have took the pill, but his hand was forced. So there's many ways to look at things. But really, his fate is not the big issue. It's what is going to happen from here on out. And who's going to be in charge of seeing justice being done. And it ain't the FBI. It's not their bailiwick. It's over their heads. And I don't believe that the domestic agencies have control anymore. I think that they have been taken over by military intelligence, FBI, CIA, all of them. And they're doing as they're being instructed. Because Epstein was involved with international criminality. We're talking about humanity. We're talking not only just a predatory incursion into our country. We're talking about the destruction of civilization as we know it. We're going up against spiritual wickedness in high places. That's a little bit beyond Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. Nothing bad about them. But it's the fact of the matter. And who's in charge of the military in the end? Donald J. Trump. But anyway, here's Karen Levitt making reference to the news about the Epstein files.
DOJ and FBI have now concluded there was no Jeffrey Epstein client list. What do you tell MAGA supporters who say they want anyone involved in Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes to be held accountable?
This administration wants anyone who has ever committed a crime to be held accountable, and I would argue this administration has done more to lock up bad guys than certainly the previous administration. And the Trump administration is committed to truth and to transparency. That's why the Attorney General and the FBI Director pledged at the President's direction to do an exhaustive review of all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and his death. And they put out a memo in conclusion of that review. There was material they did not release because, frankly, it was incredibly graphic and it contained child pornography, which is not something that's appropriate for public consumption. But they committed to an exhaustive investigation. That's what they did, and they provided the results of that. That's transparency.
Follow up on that,
Sure.
Caroline. Okay, so
You heard that, and it's just what I said weeks ago, a month ago, that they just can't put up that kind of filth to satisfy prurient interests, and they're going after international criminality. International. Hi, Tank, how you doing? MS Motorsports, how you doing? Dean, how are you doing? Sin, nice to see you. Tuco, New Insight. Haha, nice to see you. Melinda's here. Wanda. So, we're talking about toppling governments. We're talking about toppling governments. Like Heidi Fleiss. Remember her? I said the devil was in the details, right? Everybody wanted Heidi Fleiss's client list. Who she was giving back rubs to. And you know what I mean by back rubs. And her little excuse me. Her little cadre of helpers. That's the client list. Epstein wasn't running a Heidi Fleiss operation, folks. Don't look at one piece of a puzzle and think that it is the whole painting. 40,000 foot view. They had to do something to get the heat off of domestic agencies while this operation is ongoing. Yeah, Heidi Fleiss's little black book. This is not a catching a pimp. And the other thing to keep in mind is, for at least 10 years, any evidence lists that they would even think about putting out to the public has been passed around, fiddled with. They had AI way before the public had AI. They had Photoshop, high-end stuff. They can put in names to incriminate people. They can set people up. It's called a chain of custody. When somebody takes it into court, what if they said, hey, that guy Mountain Man, he's on the list? Well, how that? They if they wanted to get rid of me. Well, who had this list? Where'd you get it from? How many hands did it pass through? Where's the original? How come this is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy? We're talking 10 years of manipulation of evidence. But we know one entity has it all. And we can't let the left turn it into a bright, shiny thing that distracts us. It can distract the left, and in a good way, to get them to focus on something we've been hollering about at least since the CUE board came up 9 years ago. There's millions of people taking this seriously now that never would have. So we don't need to sweat the small stuff. Whether or not Dan Bongino is going to say this or Kash Patel is going to say that, keep in mind, they're good men. They've worked in law enforcement and strong government backgrounds. They're intelligent. But they were podcasters. They're the face of the domestic agencies. So, like I say, the devil's in the details. The systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. It's even in quote marks. What did I just say about a client list? Heidi Fleiss had a client list, okay? Dolly Parton, when she played in The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, had a client list, okay? We're not talking about a customer base. Think more like membership. Huh? Membership. How many different ways could you word it? Other than a client coming around on an as-need basis. You get what I'm saying. It's a big club and you and I ain't in it. That's right. But the big club was hanging out with Epstein because they were members. They're not clients. They go out of their way to point that out. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed government officials as part of his actions. Doesn't have to. Doesn't have to. If they're members, if they've already joined, soldiers, but predicate. Investigators concluded Epstein committed, you-know-what, aside in his cell. Okay. Think Rommel as an example. And also think state secrets. I said I wouldn't be surprised if he was still existing somewhere. But in the only way you could keep him safe and keep him talking would be in some remote prison-like situation. And it wouldn't surprise me if he was in that situation. And what good would it do to disclose that? Because they would just hunt him down. After he got arrested the second time by Donald Trump, his life was over. It wasn't worth 10 cents. And he knew it. Just like Rommel knew when Hitler made up his mind, there was nothing he could do except fight a losing battle and have his family destroyed, his reputation destroyed, and he would have still lost his life. However the scenario would be playing out, we know Trump has already disclosed that this is international, deep criminality, and it's being investigated. For us to sit here and nitpick and demand answers ready to be given would be damaging. That you can't spill the beans or take the national attention off of what's happening right now over to Jeffrey Epstein, who, for all intents and purposes, might as well be 6 feet under. That doesn't mean that we're not going after the members, okay? Not the clients, the participants, the hierarchy. How many words can you think of to say what I'm trying to communicate? This conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including the autopsy findings of blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, as I said before, it doesn't matter to me whether he's in some cage somewhere, getting his 3 meals according to the Geneva Conventions. His brother is safe. His fortune, which nobody knows how he acquired, by the way, went to the benefit of whatever family he had left over, or whether he is really gone. So there's many ways to look at it. But this story is not over. This doesn't mean the story is over. So I'm not going to jump up and down about it. But you have Elon putting out the siren song of a third party to get the people that can be peeled off of the maniacal left to start paying attention to these things. What's the time? Oh, look, it's the no one has been arrested o'clock again. The official Jeffrey Epstein pedophile arrest counter. Good. I feel this whole situation is an op. Driving an apparent, what appears to be a wedge between Elon and Trump. And it accomplishes a lot of different things. But here's what Trump put out about Elon today. Well, wait a minute. Oh, that might be it, yeah. Let me make sure I got that. I got to fool with my mic here on this. Let me. I am saddened. Let me cut my mic. Here we go. Let's see what he says. Saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely, quote, off the rails, essentially becoming a train wreck over the past 5 weeks. He even wants to start a third political party, despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States. The system seems not designed for them. The one thing third parties are good for is the creation of complete and total disruption and chaos. And we have enough of that with the radical left Democrats, who've lost their confidence and their minds. Republicans, on the other hand, are a smooth-running machine that just passed the biggest bill of its kind in the history of our country. It's a great bill, but unfortunately for Elon, it eliminates the ridiculous electric vehicle EV mandate, which would have forced everyone to buy an electric car in a short period of time. I have been strongly opposed to that from the very beginning. People are now allowed to buy whatever they want. Gasoline-powered hybrids, which are doing very well, or new technologies as they come about. No more EV mandate. I have campaigned on this for 2 years, and quite honestly, when Elon gave me his total and unquestioned endorsement, I asked him whether or not he knew that I was going to terminate the EV mandate. It was in every speech I made and in every conversation I had. He said he had no problem with that. I was very surprised. Additionally, Elon asked that one of his close friends run NASA. I remember that. While I thought his friend was very good, I was surprised to learn that he was a blue-blooded Democrat who had never contributed to a Republican before. Elon probably was also. I thought it inappropriate that a very close friend of Elon, who was in the space business, run NASA, when NASA is such a big part of Elon's corporate life. My number one charge is to protect the American public. I'm skipping. I see where some people are. Is my signal going in and out? Hi, Diane. Sparky, how you doing? Anyway, so there he laid out a very detailed thing, and he talked about Elon Musk's buddy being a blue blood Democrat, and Elon was also. And I showed you the tweet from 2018, good on his end. Anyway, here's Elon. Julian Assange. The reason the FBI wouldn't let the Epstein client list out in court is because if they did, their blackmail would no longer be useful. And the C.I.A. would lose their control over all the powerful people they spent decades setting up. Julian Assange. I wouldn't say setting up, I would say recruiting. Recruiting membership. Of course, Babylon Bee has fun with it. Pam Bondi confirms Ark of the Covenant sitting on her desk waiting to be reviewed. It's building up curiosity. People are talking about it. Even Always Be Commie News. Always be commie news. DOJ FBI review finds no Jeffrey Epstein client list, according to a new memo. And I'm sick of looking at that face. A review ordered by President Trump appointed, they can't say, a review ordered by the Justice Department, which is what they would do under Biden. They have to say, President Trump appointed leadership of the Justice Department, and the FBI found no evidence that notorious deceased financier, Jeffrey Epstein, kept a client list of associates who he blackmailed or conspired to victimize dozens of women. No. They ritualized. They were conducting rituals. Epstein wasn't just a pimp. That island wasn't there to run a brothel. It was there to conduct rituals for the big club. And that's who they're after. I hope that makes sense. And why they need to put it in the context they're putting it in and whip up interest for when the time comes to start dropping the other shoe, right? I put in my thumbnails a red letter day. You remember that saying, folks, from way back? It's a red letter day. Well, red letter day is bad news. Bad news. It's a red letter day for a lot of countries with tariffs. Trump put out letter after letter after letter on Truth Social. I didn't get them all. I'll just show you this is the form they get. If you didn't contact Mr. T, jerking them around, not coming to a deal, this is what the mailman brought you in your country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Who got this letter? Let's see. This one happens to be the chairperson and member of the presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Sarajevo. I thought it was something about the Olympics. But no, it's a letter to tell them. I think they ended up paying 25% in tariffs. I think. I don't know. If for any reason, let's see, you decide to raise your tariffs, then whatever number you choose, let's see. Remember, folks, this is important because this is going to replace where they fleece us every year. They make us miserable every year. They make us subject to arrest. Don't think that Gorsuch pointed out the fact that the way the system is set up, everybody is a felon. And don't forget the likes of Kamala Harris saying she could destroy someone's life with the stroke of a pen. They're talking about these illegal aliens getting rounded up. Can you imagine if all of a sudden, with 80,000 new IRS agents on top of all the other ones they had, if they decided to do like Zoran and go after the productive people? It looks to us like you made a mistake on your tax forms. That's 10 years in jail. You get your due process, you get to go to trial, but first you get arrested. First you have to get an attorney. First you get your house foreclosed on. First you almost have a heart attack from everything. Because everybody's supposed to own nothing and be happy. Don't think that couldn't have happened. Selective prosecution of the haves to make the have-nots happy. And they would have cheered it on. It happened in Germany. It happened in many countries over the centuries. Neighbors getting drug out of their home and their own neighbors cheering and laughing. So this is important. If for any reason you decide to raise your tariffs, then whatever number you choose to raise them by will be added on to the 30% we charge. Please understand these tariffs are necessary to correct the many years of Bosnia and Herzegovina's tariff and non-tariff policies and trade barriers, causing these unsuitable trade deficits against the United States. This deficit is a major threat to our economy and indeed our national security! Exclamation point. And I don't care who says I'm crazy. I don't care, because I could see it. I could see Hillary Clinton as president taking advice from Barack Hussein Obama, who told Joe the plumber he wanted to redistribute wealth. We just heard Zoran say he was going to tax white neighborhoods more to correct these historical inequities in his mind. And if they could dream up 34 felonies against Donald Trump with top-of-the-line accountants working with international bankers, top-of-the-line attorneys, they could still manipulate the justice system into claiming that Trump belongs in jail and is guilty of 34 felonies. What the hell do you think would happen to you and me? We look forward to working with you as your trading partner for many years to come. If you wish to open your heretofore closed trading markets to the United States and eliminate your tariffs and non-tariff policies and trade barriers, we will perhaps consider an adjustment to this letter. These tariffs may be modified upward or downward, depending on our relationship with your country. You will never be disappointed with the United States of America. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Key words: that their unfair policies are an attack on our country and they affect our national security. Do you think the news agencies are going to report this? Hi, Angel. How you doing? But I could see mass arrests that these people would enjoy, just like the Texas floods, where they mock children and the parents who lost their children to these floods. Getting your next door neighbor who's got a nicer car than you they would love it. They would love it. And they have everything in place to do it. Ronald Reagan said that in a speech from the 1960s. I've played it for you before. It's just national mood, how many prosecutors they have in place, how many judges they have in place to carry out this kind of financial atrocity. They would do it in a flash. Here's the park that ICE made a show of force in. Someone left a cake out in the rain. I don't know if I can take it. Isn't that MacArthur Park or whatever it is? Took so long to bake it. But anyway, I grabbed some screenshots of the, they say, oh, the beautiful park where children were, and oh, that park is a hellhole. Taken over by gangs, MS-13. It was probably a meeting of gang members because they took people away. They acted like Karen Bass. Here she is. Here's an aerial shot of her showing up. It was all over but the shouting. Guy in the cowboy hat's on the phone with somebody. He passed the phone to her. I'll play a clip from her press conference. You'll hear her talking about military, children, medicine, anything they can think up in their brains. They were ice ages, there were no military. She refers to tanks in the street. What, a Humvee or armored personnel carrier? I believe it was a dry run. I think it was an operation to get some top-level people, dangerous people. And remember what Tom Homan said. These cartels, you're going the hell out of here, out of this country. You're in the country, you're entrenched, but we're getting you out. And anybody that's assisting you. Look, there she is in her teal dress. A city of immigrants, that's what we are. Here's another shot. I didn't get it where she's in there, but she's back. There's one of the tanks. Don't you know what the hell a tank is, woman? But they got caught flat-footed. Like I said, they have their network of people that want to disrupt ICE operations. Well, they fell flat on their face. Here is a clip, a short clip, where she acts like she's running them off. And she said she talked to somebody at the end. I can't see if you all can tell the name. I boosted the audio. But anyway, here she is acting like, thanks to her, the operation is shut down, even though they accomplished what they wanted to do.
I am going to say.
Mayor Bass, I need to get my phone and we're departing.
Okay. All right. Mayor Bass.
Mayor Bass.
Any comment, Mayor Bass?
Thank you.
Mayor Bass, any comment?
Yes, my comment is they need to leave, and they need to leave right now. They need to leave because this is unacceptable.
Who did you speak with?
Just wait and see.
Mayor Bass,
They will be leaving soon.
Mayor, who did you speak with on the phone just now? Who did you speak with on the phone?
The head of customs.
Wow.
I couldn't tell who she was on the phone with. But Tom Homan and other officials said, get used to it. Get used to it, because we're turning up the heat. They came out of nowhere. They came out of nowhere and shocked everybody. They've got the local KTLA news organization, which is, I got a clip from them I meant to play you the other day. But they're repugnant, the way they describe things. The only word is repugnant. And I'm looking for them to lose their broadcast license. I'll talk about that when I play the clip. But here is, you all might remember his name, Bill Malugin. Okay, reported. Breaking. Like I said, they caught him flat-footed. Ha, ha, ha. Breaking. We are with hundreds of federal agents. I doubt it was hundreds. And military. There wasn't any military. As a massive federal immigration enforcement operation is underway in the MacArthur Park area of the sanctuary city of Los Angeles, an area with heavy MS-13 influence. Mayor Bass has demanded raids stop. Feds respond. They were wrapping up anyway. We're out of here. We did what we needed to do. But here she is, giving her dopey little press conference. I didn't record the whole thing. But you'll see video. Let me play it till it gets to where one guy said they were staging for a TikTok. I'll stop it when it gets to, let me see.
The news conference on the immigration.
There it is. Let me see. This one on the far right with the gray, you see that gray sleeve that looks like it has 3 arms stuck inside of it? That's one of those ones I'm wondering. They're all pudgy as hell. I'm wondering, they're all assistants to Karen Bass or the government. All members of a club. Are they on SNAP? Are they getting housing assistance? Are they even lawful citizens? Are they getting checks from the city of Los Angeles or the state of California? And they're probably not even lawful citizens. I don't know. It might be one or two of them's not. But as I said, that one, especially on the far right, isn't just on SNAP. She probably grabbed up the crackle and pop to boot. But anyway, you'll hear Karen Bass throw out keywords. She even uses the word killing. She's talking about soldiers on the streets. Keep in mind that they were all ICE officers in riot gear. Big deal. Like LA's never seen that before. But you'll hear her talk about the children and all the keywords and stuff. Let me go ahead and play it.
Raid that took place at MacArthur Park in downtown LA.
Of the natural disaster, the worst in California's recent history, and to report on the progress. While I was on the way, though, I got alerted that there was a ICE operation, military intervention, who knows, at MacArthur Park. I turned around, we went to the park. I could see a helicopter in the air. I think it was a Black Hawk helicopter. And I saw military tanks. It was the Custom and Border Patrol, and it might have been
military tanks. There weren't any damn tanks in the street. And she'll say, it was military or soldiers or ICE. Who knows? Well, before you make a public statement that could be insightful, maybe you better know.
Military on the periphery. To me, this is another example of the administration ratcheting up chaos by deploying what looked like a military operation in an American city. So I went to MacArthur Park because it is very important that the truth be told about what happened there. Now, you can spin it any way you like, but in my opinion, it's a political agenda of provoking fear and terror. Frankly, it is outrageous and un-American that we have federal armed vehicles in our parks when nothing is going on in the parks. It's outrageous and un-American that the federal government seized our state's National Guard. It's outrageous and un-American that we have U.S. Marines who are trained to kill foreign soldiers overseas deployed in our American city. So here's the truth. There's no plan other than fear, chaos, and politics. Home Depot one day, a car wash the next, armed vehicles and what looked like mounted military units in a park the next day. What happened to criminals, the drug dealers, the violent individuals who were in the park today were children. It was their summer camp, their summer day camp. It was their summer camp.
Oh, yeah, their summer camp. One thing I want to point out, you will see guys walking across the field with horses behind them. And I think this is, one, an operation because they did catch some people. They put them in white vans and took them to a nearby correctional facility, which is what the helicopter guy reported. But you see an orange smoke cloud. I believe that is part of a training mission, okay? They have combined an operation into a dry run training mission, and I think they also picked up a number of people that were on a list, dangerous people. So anyway, as you watch the movements, you'll see the horses go, and you'll see other people setting off these orange clouds to acclimate the men into and women to what kind of conditions they may face in the future. But anyway, she's talking about children. There's always the children, don't you know? And she'll talk about how an 8-year-old knew somehow that these were ICE agents. Somehow they knew, and they were afraid of an 8-year-old. How could an 8-year-old know this is ICE and to be afraid of them? Oh, it's so horrible. Because of people like you and their teachers pounding stuff in their head when they should be saying, oh, thank God somebody's come here to restore law and order. But anyway, let her finish.
Their summer day camp. Those kids now have no activities this afternoon. They have to stay inside. They were ushered inside so that they didn't get exposed to the troops that were walking in formation across their playground area. We did not want the children to be aware that it was ICE. Although I do have to tell you that I went and I spoke to an 8-year-old. I never let on what was going on upstairs, but did this 8-year-old tell me that he was afraid of ICE? Did the 8-year-old tell me that he was afraid of ICE taking his parents and he didn't think it was good to take people away? So understand that that 8-year-old knows enough of what's going on that he's already traumatized in anticipation. And I don't know if he had a sixth sense or not to know that they were upstairs. But I think it's pretty dramatic that a child said to me that he was fearful of ICE. So what I saw in the park today looked like a city under siege, under armed occupation. And I have to tell you, spending many years traveling into conflict areas, you know, it's the way a city looks before a coup. The administration is continuing what I have framed as an all-out assault, a military assault on our city, Custom and Border Patrol randomly driving through the streets, snatching people. That is when they're identified. It's Custom and Border Patrol, but we know sometimes they're not identified, so we don't know who they are. Well, I just think it's important that we continue to tell the truth to the American people. There was no protest. There was no disorder that required that. MacArthur Park, we've been working on, the mayor's office and the councilwoman here, Councilwoman Hernandez, have been working on to improve conditions in that park for the last couple of years. And I just want to say, do we have the ability to show this? Because I did want, the world needs to see the troop formation on horses walking through the park in search of what? In search of.
They're doing a dry run. They're doing a dry run, and they're getting ready for anything because they know that your crony officials that are behind you still wearing masks, okay, are going to resist the implementation of law and order that is coming. And they know you're going to do it. And they're going to be ready for you. And Karen Bass, she might be one of the first ones to be sitting in the clink. We'll see.
They are walking through the area where the children play. The children had to be ushered off. What you see is them in a skirmish line with the horses walking through. I do not believe that anyone was detained. Maybe they were. But then again, I don't think the goal is to detain. I think the goal is to spread fear. I think that's what it is. It's to terrorize Angelenos. It's to say to immigrants that are in our city of immigrants that they need to stay home. They shouldn't go to work. They shouldn't go to school because we're coming after. Let me just acknowledge.
We're a city of immigrants. That's what she said. We are immigrants. We're a city of immigrants. That's to bolster her sanctuary city policies, which are illegal and working against the federal government. The very, very fine, thin red line. And she's going to cross it, I believe. She's going to talk about how she's going to get a hold of attorneys, okay? That she has faith in one branch of government is the only thing she has faith in left. And she's talking about the crooked judiciary that's been infested with communist ideology, okay? And if they had footage of terrified children being escorted off, or any of these agents scaring children or making children cry, they would be playing it on a loop. They don't have it. It's all drama. It's all made up garbage.
Acknowledge the organizations behind me: SALAF, the Salvadorian American Leadership and Educational Fund; CHIRLA, Caressen, Clinica Romero, SEIU USWW, SEIU 721, St. John's Clinic. By the way, the St. John's Clinic was attempting to provide medical care to people in the park. They had to shut down because of the troops. Proyecto Pastoral, representatives and staff, local, state, and federal levels, UTLA, and the Central City Neighborhood Park. With that, let me introduce
blah, blah,
the
blah.
President of the City Council, Marquise Harris-Dawson.
Marquise is just going to get up there and talk the same garbage and say it was a TikTok video they're setting up. And then the other one in the gray shirt got up there and babbled, and I didn't want to play all that. But they keep showing the same clip over and over and over and over. You know, maybe 3 armored vehicles and 4 or 5 Humvees and some white vans. But no, they're playing it out to be the apocalypse. Hi, Gary. How you doing? Ha ha. So, yeah, and they disturbed medical. They were giving medical to people. They would have that on film if they saw somebody missing out on medical care. Hi, Graybeard. That's right, Diane. There's a lot of homeless people out there. It's horrible. And it's probably the cleanest that park has been as far as human flotsam not being around than it has been in 30 years. So, yeah, if they had it, yeah, Aracel's right. If they had medical attention to the people in the park, their medical attention is to give them clean needles so they can keep shooting up with clean needles, and in some cases giving them the heroin itself. Thank you, Gary, for helping sponsor last night's program. I greatly appreciate it. Wayne and Mike and Bev helping out this week, too. I do appreciate it very much at Buy Me a Coffee. This is a viewer-supported channel, totally viewer-supported. And I have a link in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. It's greatly appreciated. But anyway, this type of rhetoric, I was talking about last night I was talking about a Texas deputy that got SHOT, and word on the street is he's doing okay. But here's another incident where somebody attacked agents, and one agent got shot in the leg. But I don't know if they put the details in this little report here, but they returned fire, and that person, who had a name similar to, you know, with rolling R's and who whatever kind of a Latin American name, he's no longer in existence. So anyway, let me play this clip for you.
To make sure that we're on a heightened state of alert in order to prevent these attacks from continuing. And these are pulling those agents off of what they should be doing, which is out enforcing the law. But I'll tell you this, I could not be more proud of the Border Patrol employees today. They defended themselves bravely. They handled the situation very well. And I would be remiss if I didn't commend the McAllen Police Department and other local law enforcement agencies that responded and helped us stop that threat. But they're not just putting law enforcement in danger. They're putting civilians in danger too, because when they encourage these civilians to rise up and act like this, they're going up against highly trained law enforcement officers, and they're going to find themselves in the same situation that this gentleman found himself in this morning.
Which is prepared, right? And considering this is one of several recent attacks on immigration officers, Mike, how would you say the morale of those folks are and Border Patrol as a whole?
So I would say the morale is doing phenomenally well. However, it does create concern. It creates concern for the agents. They have to go home to their families. We're all fathers, mothers, brothers and sisters. And so agents have to be on a heightened state of awareness, even when they're not on duty, especially in communities where you're well known inside of those communities. A lot of those border communities are small, and people know exactly who we are in those communities. And so this doesn't just affect us while we're on duty. This affects our home lives as well.
We talk to Paul Perez quite often here on the program, the chief of the Border Patrol Union, and he said that his agents have been very happy, very enthusiastic that they're now able to, because of the lack of illegal cross-border traffic that we've seen in the past 5 months, get back to the job at hand. And then something like this happens.
So I'd agree, and I don't believe this is going to lower morale on the Border Patrol, but it's definitely going to create a heightened sense of awareness for us. And again, it's unacceptable that we have lawmakers calling for violence against law enforcement. That is absurd.
Mike, appreciate what you do. Thank you very much for coming on with an update.
Oh, hey, Mike, just before we let you go, the local police officer who was shot in the leg in this incident, any idea how he's doing?
Yes, sir. So he's doing well. We also had 2 Border Patrol employees that were injured as well. All 3 of those received non-life-threatening injuries, and they're being treated at the local hospital. All 3 of them are expected to make 100% recovery.
All right, that's good news. Mike, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, they're out there doing their job.
Yeah.
And crazy people come along and try to shoot the place up. I mean, it's insane what's happening.
And Mike makes the point, well taken. These are fathers, brothers, sons, and they go out there every day and risk their lives. And to see these attacks on the rise, they know that risk is growing every single day that they show up at work. So we pray for them.
So 3 were wounded. 2 ICE agents and 1 deputy were wounded. And then the attack yesterday where a deputy was waylaid. I believe he's going to make it also. So, Karen Bass, you can keep on poking the bear if you want to. It's all being documented. But what did she say she had faith in? Faith in the courts. Here we have, popped up on my notifications. Judge blocks Trump from cutting off Planned Parenthood funding. So now we have judges that can tell Congress what to do, these little district judges, and then the one that cut it off a little bit, federal judges, Trump administration stops migrants from going to South Africa. We know about that. Judge blocks Trump rule barring migrants at U.S.-Mexico border from the remain in Mexico. It's constant, and we can't function as a nation. But who is this one that blocked Planned Parenthood? I looked her up. Indira Talwani. Indira Talwani. Education. Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study, 1982. UC Berkeley. They say she was born in the United States. Indira Talwani is the United States District Court of the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts. Wikipedia. Oh, let me look her up. Let me look her up here. Where'd she go? Here we go. What is the background of Indira Talwani? She was born in Englewood, New Jersey, they say. Nationality, American, they say. Biography, daughter of Manique Talwani, a geophysicist from Punjab, India. received a Bachelor of Arts degree, cum laude, in 1982 from Radcliffe College. Well, I was magna cum laude, okay? So get off the bench and let me take your seat. She received a Juris Doctorate in 1988 from UC Berkeley. What a degenerate university, Berkeley. They let a guy show up there for years. They called him the naked guy. He would come in and sit in class, all he had on was a backpack. And people had to tolerate that. Had to bring Lysol with them, in case they got stuck sitting in the chair he was sitting in. For like 3 years. And then he found out he was never enrolled, never was a student. He was just some nut walking around with no clothes on. That's what you got with Berkeley. So anyway, they didn't say anything about the mother. They just referenced this father, Monique Talwani. What was she, hatched from an egg? Did you bring an egg over from India and it hatched here in the United States? Who's the mother? Or brought in a bowling ball bag like Obama probably was. Who knows? But anyway, this person, this individual, here's another picture of her. Indira Talwani. She's going to straighten out the world. And Karen Bass has all the faith in the world in her. Anyway, let's see what this is. Oh, from overseas. Yemeni Houthis have sunk the green bulk carrier Magic Seas in the Red Sea. According to the British Maritime Coordination Office, this is the first such attack since the 12-day war ended between Israel and Iran. The ship sailing under the Greek flag was subjected to a multi-stage attack. First, it was fired upon with small arms and grenade launchers. Then 4 unmanned surface boats were used. Drones on the seas. Attempts by armed guards to repel the attack were unsuccessful. The ship caught fire and sank. So they need more than just small arms. They need some RPGs or something to take out those drone boats. And then another report that Iran has officially banned the use of Starlink. Violators face lashes, fines, or imprisonment for up to 2 years. So, everybody that's jumping up and down for Palestine, don't bomb Iran, just remember, you get lashed with a whip if you break the rules over there. So quit crying about what kind of situation we got here. Back to these lunatics picking on the victims of the Texas flood. I brought up this guy before too. Cinema Shogun. He's got another channel called Fat and Opinionated. He's another young man that I have never heard him use a foul word. But he does cover issues. He's a 90s kid, so he goes off on some screwball stuff about, when somebody said they saw aliens in their backyard and stuff, that's okay. If I'm not interested in the topic, I don't watch it, but he covers good stuff and he gives good thoughts on things. But here he's talking about another crazy racist lady. Flood victims under attack. And he's got a picture up. I'm sure he'll play her video. They're all white. Evil. Camp Mystic, Texas flood. Victims are being attacked by a racist person. You saw some of those quotes I had up earlier. Here's this person. Got fired from her job. Jack Posobiec put this up. Dr. Christina Propst, a Texas children doctor, prayed that non-MAGA children and pets would die in the flood. What? And then says Tina, Chris, what? Many all visitors, children, non-MAGA voters, and pets, be safe and dry. Non-MAGA voters and pets, be safe and dry. Kerr County MAGA voted to gut FEMA. They deny climate change. May they get what they voted for. Bless their hearts. Well, she doesn't have a job anymore. You sick weirdo. Climate change hoax. How deeply it gets entrenched in their little brains. Who's this? Let's see what's going on here. Donald Trump Jr. What did he post? Exclusive. John Brennan may face perjury issues after CIA Director Ratcliffe's review. Uncover Russia hoax testimony problems. Remember, they put Bannon in jail. They put Peter Navarro in jail. Why are you so special? Former CIA Director John Brennan may be exposed to perjury problems after current CIA Director John Radcliffe released an internal review. So yes, it is happening. What's Posobiec putting up? Oh boy, this is flashed up. Charlie Kirk is doing an entire opening monologue explaining how high-level corporate leaders are pushing President Trump to sign a bipartisan mass amnesty deal focusing on agriculture. Charlie Kirk reports there are now high-level people pushing President Trump for a bipartisan mass amnesty deal. Trump posted that we would be deporting 1 million people per year. That was the goal. Well, in a 4-year term, there's 4 million people. We've got 30 million in this country, at least that we know of. But wait a minute, let's think about it. What about self-deportation? Self-deportation. I think that's happening every bit as quickly as actual deportations, if not quicker, with them waving $1,000 under their noses. Or they get arrested and have no chance of coming back. So we could get it up to 8 to 10 million, but that still leaves 20 million. So this has people concerned. This type of report. Tom Holman said we need to get up to 7,000 a day. Jack Posobiec posted only 58% of red rums are solved in the U.S. That's from FBI data. So someone with nefarious designs has got a 42% chance of getting away with it. If these numbers are accurate, it could be 50-50. But if we take their numbers at face value, it's kind of like playing poker at a casino. About the same risk. When the bad guys see that the police are not there to deter crime and catch criminals, they remain on the streets and do more bad stuff. Yeah, that goes without saying. Who put this up? From each according to his abilities, to each according to his needs. Karl Marx I pointed out that he was taking comments straight out of the Communist Manifesto. Here's another quote right out of the Communist Manifesto. Each according to their need, each according to their ability. He just transposed need and ability. I think that's more than enough cause to revoke his citizenship and send him back to wherever in the hell he came from. He's in this country unlawfully. He has unlawful designs. I looked this up about Karen Bass. So I'm kind of leery of posts people put up. Remember somebody put up, I put it up, I said, did you all see this? Where I think it was Barack Obama pardoned her for involvement in a BOM being, right? I asked Goggle about it. You can't trust that either. I said, did Obama pardon her for anything? No. Barack Obama did not pardon Karen Bass. Obama's pardons were primarily for those convicted of federal crimes, and Karen Bass has not been convicted of any federal crime. She did not attend Trump's inauguration after conducting a poll on Twitter. I didn't ask you about that. But that could be mind games too. I don't know. Hard to say. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt, right? What's this all about? Over the past 24 hours, 8 sleeping Bitcoin wallets have been awakened. I don't know much about Bitcoin. Some of you may. Sleeping wallets. For the first time in 14 years, they withdrew 80,009 Bitcoin for $8.69 billion. First, the movement began from 4 addresses. Have you heard this in the American press? Came from 4 addresses, 10,000 Bitcoins each. Then 2 more joined, and finally 2 more. All the coins were received in 2011 at a rate of 78 cents to $3.37. A lot less than 8.69 billion. Another 4 similar wallets are still silent. This is the largest awakening of old wallets in years. It is assumed that these assets belong to Ross Ulbricht, the owner of the anonymous drug platform Silk Road. Ulbricht had been serving a life sentence since May 28, 2015, but was pardoned by U.S. President Donald Trump on January 22, 2025. And he put the screenshot up. I can't make heads or tails of it. But this is, I guess, the showing the transfers of the wallets. I don't know if there's anybody watching this that may be interested in these transactions. But there they are. Taking a little something out of their wallet. Living large. Whoever it is. And I concur with their supposition. It's probably this guy, Ross Ulbricht. Let's see what a Diamond Silk got to say. Video, L.A. mayor personally obstructs immigration enforcement operation. Screeches at agents. I didn't see any video of her screeching, but maybe they have it. Calls are pouring out for the arrest of Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass after she appeared to protest activities by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in her city. So, we'll see. She's going to push it. And Tom Homan is just going to keep showing up. Just in, sleuths noticed a missing minute in newly released Epstein jail footage. We already saw a magic minute with Jeffries, whatever his name is. But anyway, the Department of Justice has released never-before-seen surveillance footage from the night Jeffrey Epstein died in federal custody. But eagle-eyed viewers say something is not adding up. So we'll have to see if anything comes of that or if it's just internet talk about a magic minute or mystery minute or whatever they want to call it. Missing minute. Honduran and Nicaraguan temporary protected status terminated by DHS after 25 years. Oh boy, is that going to impact California. Honduran and Nicaraguan temporary protected status terminated by DHS after 25 years. 76,000 Honduran and Nicaraguan migrants residing in the United States. That reminds me of the footage I have from KTLA. I'll play that in a second. I want to go through what some of these reports are here. Keep up with the news. Dems anti-flood narrative debunked by weather reports. Meteorologists are forcefully pushing back against claims by Democrats and suggestions in mainstream media that cuts to the National Weather Service by the Trump administration is partly to blame. Yeah, it was all BS. Nobody got fired from there. There may be positions removed in the next 3 months, but nothing changed. I don't know who the CBS News host they're talking about is. Said he melted down over his network settlement with Trump. A top on-air talent, CBS, went off script last week, reacting with rage to the news of Network B settling a lawsuit by President Trump. The reason I got a screenshot of this because I forgot to tell you all. That word on the street is it's a $16 million settlement, but there's another $16 to $20 million rumored to be pledged for the value of airing public service announcements, PSAs. And that's what really got them mad. If they threw some money at Trump and then kept doing what they're doing, they probably wouldn't be as excited over this. But if they got to put out approved by the Trump administration public service announcements, millions of dollars worth, that is what's really going to get them upset. Let's see what they do. What's this? Oh. Similar to the call to let go Tina Peters. Remember that, folks, Tina Peters. Somebody we haven't talked about in a while. Bolsonaro's from Brazil. Brazil is doing a terrible thing on their treatment of former President Jair Bolsonaro. I have watched, as has the world, as they have done nothing but come after him day after day, night after night, month after month, year after year. He's not guilty of anything except having fought for the people. I have gotten to know Jair Bolsonaro, and he is a strong leader who truly loved his country. Also, a very tough negotiator on trade. He put it in capital letters. That's a message to Brazil. You better straighten up, or he'll get you back on trade. His election was very close, and now he is leading in the polls. There's nothing more or less than an attack on a political opponent, something I know much about. It happened to me times 10, and now our country is the hottest in the world. The great people of Brazil will not stand for what they're going to do to their former president, I guess is what he meant. I'll be watching the witch hunt of Jair Bolsonaro, his family, and thousands of his supporters very closely. The only trial that should be happening is a trial by the voters of Brazil. It's called an election. Leave Bolsonaro alone. So, hi, Stanton, how you doing? I'll see if I missed anybody. Hi, Jerry. Nice to see you. Angela's here. All right. So Trump did put out something. Speaking of Brazil trade, is this the one? No, this is a sample letter. Another thing from Posobiec. I see the libs are up to their old talking points again, so I have to post this again. If Trump was in the Epstein files, why wouldn't Biden and Garland just have released it? Very good point. But Trump, I can't find it. Yeah, here it is. This is big. Any country aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS will be charged an additional 10% tariff. There will be no exceptions to this policy. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We're going to get like BRICS in that we're going to tie our money to gold, right? This ties back into what I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast about the situation with the Epstein files. Dan Bongino and Kash Patel et al. And others, Pam Bondi, yada yada, have got domestic issues to take care of. They're not the ones calling the shots on the international criminality, the ones that are dealing with the cabal, the evil ones, worldwide. And Trump puts that in words by saying the FBI, under the direction of Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, is back to the basics, locking up criminals and cleaning up America's streets. We have the greatest law enforcement professionals in the world, but politics and corrupt leadership often preventing them from doing their job. That is no longer the case. And now they have been unleashed to do their jobs, and they are doing just that. Keep it up. Make America safe again. Don't worry, we've got people on the Epstein crap. I'm going to, I'll get into this business of KTLA in another broadcast. KTLA. KTLA, I think, is going to get in trouble. I think they're going to get taken off the air. President Donald Trump on Monday replaced a 25% tax on goods imported from Japan and South Korea, citing persistent trade imbalances as the two crucial U.S. allies in Asia. So, that's all getting stoked up, because it's not the end of it. The letters are going to get things stoked up where people start responding. They're going to have to. They're going to have to. Here you go. Something put on your Meta. Disney World installs animatronic district judge to block animatomic Trump. Oh, Jerry, you did a good move there if you went and bought silver. Silver is the poor man's gold. Copper is the poor man's silver. So anyway, folks, I took this video, it's a short one, about, I don't know how long ago, 3 or 4 days ago, and it's got Trump down in the corner with pointing his finger up, so I said, well, it must be something funny. I could play that for folks. Oh, I want to do a talk about what's going on over in Europe. Put this on your Meta. As they say in England, Allahu Akbar. There you go. Putin. Ha ha. I might put that up again later on sometime. But anyway, France is in France. And the UK and the UK, and I don't know what they're going to do to get it back to where it used to be. But we're trying to do our part. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. It'll be new to me, too. I don't even remember what it is. This short video. I hope you enjoy it. And I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me. Once again, let's see. I should be going live tomorrow night. No, Tuesdays I don't usually go live. At least I remember that now. But anyway, if you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live. So hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you for supporting me on Buy Me a Coffee. You all have a great night. Enjoy the video. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Listen to this, 147,000 jobs on non-farm. That is well above the estimates of 110,000. The unemployment rate went down to 4.1%. The expectation was it was going to tick up to 4.3%.